Welcome back. Let's start off with some health news. The president of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, Perpetual Ofori Ampofo, has requested the government to supply the health sector with requisite working equipment to increase productivity. The president of the association believes that the provision of the necessary equipment will justify the 30% increase in public sector workers' base pay salary, which was announced on Thursday, January 12th. Following the increment, the Minister of Employment and Labour Relations, Ignatius Bafo, said that they expect workers to increase their productivity and work to justify the reward. Perpetua Ofori Ampofo, however, put forward that the increment will have very little to no impact if the government doesn't provide the required logistics and they have to do certain tasks manually. She also said in an interview that the inadequacy of logistics at the various health facilities across the country has negatively impacted the level of productivity in the health sector, as some of the equipment they use is even unhygienic. She is therefore calling on the government to provide the health sector with the necessary equipment to enable them to provide good health care and make good use of the 30% base pay increment. So that's it for health news. So let's do some educational stories. The public relations officer of the Ministry of Education, KYEI Kwarteng, has said that the result of the 2022 Basic Education Certificate Examination, popularly known in Ghana as BHTV, will be released on January 19th, 2023. The public relations officer of the ministry made this revelation in an interview he granted recently. KYEI Kwarteng said the ministry is determined to ensure that first-year students will be placed at the various senior high schools across the country go to school very early. Mr. KYEI Kwarteng said this year the placement will be quite earlier instead of March, so they are looking forward, that is in February. He therefore urged the students to check their school placement as soon as they are released and start the necessary processes to ensure they are admitted on time. Over 552,000 final year students from 18,501 junior high schools across the country took place in the examination in October 2022. Still on educational news, the Ghana Federation of Disability, GFD, has called on the government to increase grant allocation for schools to support inclusive education and enhance the effective administration of schools. Mr. George Frimpong, the Central Regional President of GFD, said government inability to release the capitation grant on time was another hitch adversely affecting quality academic work. Schools, he noted, were not able to provide teaching and learning materials for students due to the unavailability of funds. Speaking at the Regional Child Protection Committee meeting and dissemination of Ghana report to UN, Mr. Frimpong said children living with disability were struggling to access education. Hence, the need for government to prioritize inclusive education in the country is very important. The meeting was geared towards accessing the well-being of such children in the region, identifying the challenges confronting them, and devise strategies to address the issues for their growth. It was organized by the Department of Children with representative from the Department of Gender, National Youth Authority, Ghana Health attending. He said children with special needs required and deserve special care and attention to unearth their talent and potential to enable them to contribute to the socio-economic development of the country in future. Mr. Frimpong said the current educational system was a hindrance to PWDs achieving their full potential, adding that if the environment is friendly, then they can participate fully and contribute to development. Hence, he called for a comprehensive mechanism to address factors militating against the progressive march of PWDs in general to improve their standard of living. Mrs. Grace Kensa, an assistant programs officer at the Department of Children, said protection of children was a collective responsibility of all stakeholders in the country. Violence against children, she noted, was widespread, and therefore all institutions should be further strengthened to help resolve and reduce the menace to its barest minimum. Mrs. Kensa called on parents to prioritize the safety and protection of their children and urged the public to report any form of child abuse to the appropriate institutions. Mr. David Alan Pentil, an Native Council, said the healthy development of children was crucial to the well-being of every society. Children, he observed, were vulnerable, and therefore activities geared towards their development should be supported by all. Reports reaching the RCC, he indicated, was that parental neglect was high in the region and it was time to bring all hands on deck to fight the menace. So that's it for educational news. Let's do some community stories. A 65-year-old farmer at Tumfukro in the Asin South District of the Central Region of Ghana, Daniel Insowa, is battling for his life at Ebura Dunkwa District Hospital following machete wounds inflicted on him by his son, who is mentally ill. The victim received multiple slashes in his head, neck, shoulder and elbow, which resulted in cutting off his left hand, left foot and left ear. The neighbors, upon hearing him shouting for help, rushed to the scene to rescue him and was later sent to the hospital for treatment. The suspect, 32-year-old Kweku Nyankumago, who is currently in police custody at Nyankumasi Ayinkro, is said to have been tormenting the lives of residents with objects on different occasions. Police intelligence operation led to the arrest of the suspect, who absconded from the community and hid in the bush immediately after the incident. Information gathered revealed that the victim returned from the farm around 3:30 p.m. and met the suspect roasting yam on their compound. The victim then greeted the suspect, but he refused to respond, and after waiting for some time, the victim entered his room to change his farming clothes. The suspect, unprovoked, pulled up a well-sharpened machete, proceeded to his father's room and inflicted multiple wounds on him and took to his heels, but was later arrested and detained by the police. Police officials have commenced investigation into the matter. Well, we will take a quick breather here. We have more news for you. Please stay with us.
Your health would do when I made this show BHTV. Yet the barber somo. And you made this sweet. I don't put a foot a couple that will simple. Now you're playing symptoms and you're dear. And when you know, and then a farabine. Now you're dear, I will drop it to say stroke, diabetes, fibroid, ulcer, any dear kika hubia. It is yummy. Up in now, brony. Juadani will call the dear. I'm not known to. What do you want?
watching Midday Live with Sarah Che MENSAH. Let's still do some community stories. An Accra Circuit Court has granted bail to a 22-year-old student called Adam, accused of illegal possession of narcotic drugs. The plea of the accused person was not taken as the court was waiting for the result of the exhibit from the forensic laboratory. The court presided over by Mrs. Susan, public servant earning not less than 1,500 Ghana cedis a month. The case has been adjourned to February 8, 2023. Prosecuting Police Inspector Okufutei told the court that the complainant were policemen stationed at the National Patrol Department headquarters, Accra, and resided at Tudu, Accra. The prosecution said on January 2nd, 2023, the complainant were on duty at Airport Junction traffic light to check on criminal activities within the area and its environs. The prosecution said the accused person was brought to the station for investigation. At about 11:30 p.m., the complainant intercepted a rider on a motorbike and sped off, leaving the accused person behind. It said the accused person admitted the offense in his caution statement and stated that he brought the substances from someone at Tudu, Accra, and mentioned one Charles at Chiashi bus stop at one who sent him to buy the said substances but failed to lead it to the police for his arrest. So that's it for community stories. Let's do some political news. The National Democratic Congress, popularly known as NDC, in the Bibiani Anyuaso Bekwai constituency, has called on all the constituents to vote out the new Patriotic Party and the 2024 general election. According to the NDC in Bibiani, led by its constituency secretary, Mr. Joseph Ayambila, said the poor performance, power struggle, party divisions, as well as the harsh economic situation in the country were good reasons to kick the NPP out of government. Speaking at a press conference in Bibiani, Mr. Ayambila attributed to the low pace of development in the constituency, including the electric power crisis, standing power struggle as to who became the presiding member of the assembly over the past 2 years. Besides the disunity among the party leadership in the constituency, and said it had also derailed the progress and development activities in the constituency. Mr. Ayambila cited projects such as the ongoing Ghana's first toilet facility at Bibiani Estate, New Town Market, Bibiani Compound, and Seshi Bekwai, which had become a white elephant. Other projects were Bibiani Estate Road, Subri in Kwanta to Akoti Road, Bibiani Road, and Chirano Community Day School at Seshi Anyuaso. He further mentioned the fight against illegal mining activities, popularly known as galamsey, sanitation issues, lack of quality healthcare, resettlement issues between Mason Gold Limited, Bibiani, and affected communities as some major challenges in the municipality. He also stated that they have gold, bauxite, cocoa, and timber at Bibiani, yet they cannot boast of asphalt roads, universities, commercial banks, or polyclinics within